Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I went through all the trouble to wear heels and was still too short for the mic. People of St. Michael's South, especially my Brittons Hill and my Bonnets people, I'm so proud to speak in support of Kirk Humphrey to you tonight. I fully believe a new day will dawn for you and for Barbados when Kirk Humphrey is the next MP for St. Michael's South. But tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I want to reach out to and for my young people. I want to talk to you about our struggle. You see, we talk so much on TV and in newspapers about the state of the economy, the state of foreign affairs and foreign trade, the state of the roads, the state of crime and of punishment. But I want to talk about the section of the population to which I belong. Because in the rush to discuss all the high-level matters, this administration has forgotten us. Well, they've really and truly forgotten everyone. The last two elections have been spent wooing us. We've had parties and fetes, football competitions, TVs and tablets during election time. The rest of the time is spent blaming us. Crime is on the rise. Blame the youth. The population not growing. Blame the youth. But I have heard nothing from this administration about our struggle. Nothing about our desperation. Nothing about our despair. Nothing about our lost dreams and ambitions. You see, in the BLP Rubbing Shoulders campaign, I've had the opportunity to visit so many young people throughout this country. And many of us feel as though we're stuck in quicksand, left standing at life's starting gates. Let me tell you about a young man, bright, handsome. He was not the best at school. He was willing to admit that to me up front. But he was full of hope. He was full of ambition. So he applied to SJPP because he was good with his hands. But you see, in a short Barbados, the students who can't afford to go UE go BCC. And in an overcrowded BCC, those students spill over to SJPP. So he couldn't get a place. But like many of us, he was so full of hope and ambition. You see, his mother had always told him that Barbados was a place that if you stayed true to form, if you did the right things, opportunities would open for you. So he decided he was going to enter the world of work. You see, his mother was a lot like mine. A lot like most of our mothers. You're either going to school or you're working. So, as we sat under the tree on the block, he started to tell me about his work campaign. Day after day, place after place, no after no. Because you see, in a circular economy and in a short Barbados, there is no place for the youth. But you know what? I want to tell you about a young woman I met in St. George. Now, you see, she was excited. She was full of hope. She had got accepted to UE. So she was all about her payment options. You see, she believed the Minister of Education when he said funding would be available. She believed your representative, the Prime Minister, when he said no child would be left behind. But you see, when she started to look at payment options, she was left cold. You see, her mother didn't make enough to sign a surety, and certainly not enough for a loan. You see, in a short Barbados, a higher education, once the allotment to any poor woman's child, belongs solely to the rich, or at least to those who can afford to go further into debt. So we sat there, waiting for the bus, her to go to the only job she could find as a gas station attendant. Her hopes and dreams on hold indefinitely. And you see, for her, I could have wept because I know the struggle. I know what it is to suffer with a single mother, to be your family's only hope, to see her work her fingers to the bone to give you a leg up, only at the end of the day to be unable to help her, unable to fulfill your mother's dreams for you. Believe me, I know her struggle. You know her desperation. But don't get excited. I am testimony to the fact that being young and higher educated does nothing either. Educated paroles we have become. A great education, but no options. Competing for the same entry-level positions as the 3,000 sent home by a man who stood in St. George and said, I will not cut the government service. But you see, when you lied to me one time, you slapped me so, you can't take the other cheek. In a short Barbados, there is no place for the young and for the poor. We seem to have been forgotten. They think they can buy us off and walk away. They think they can give us a little party, give us a little something. They think they have bought our silence. They think they have bought our screams. You know what? I congratulate Mr. Stewart. Through ineptitude and inaction, he has created the perfect storm. An economy on its knees, high and rising levels of unemployment, investing at a grinding halt, and the self-caused sewage problem, trying to threaten the only money maker that he and Chris have not managed to destroy. He creates the perfect storm and then wonders, why is crime on the rise? But how can you look at a young man out of options and out of work and tell him he should choose to let his mother starve? How can you look at a young woman with mouths to feed and tell her she can't sell the only thing she has left? See, I am in no way condoning these actions. But where is the help? Where's the ease for our desperation? Where's the solace for our despair? But you know what? Tonight is for a way forward. So tonight, I am glad, I am happy for the opportunity to address you for Mr. Kurt Humphrey. Not because he's the BLP candidate. Well, not just because he's the BLP candidate. Not just because he's a handsome man. But because he embodies the best of what Barbadian youth could once achieve. A young, poor man taking advantage of the promise of this country. He was able to take advantage of his education and his opportunities to lift himself and his family out of poverty's reach. But you see, in a short Barbados, men like Kurt Humphrey have become a rarity. Success stories of Barbadian youth have become fewer and farther between. Once upon a time, in a real Barbados, his was not a unique tale. Once upon a time, in a real Barbados, if you went to school, if you did well, if you stayed on the straight and the narrow, opportunities would open for you. See, even once upon a time, if you had no higher education, but gumption, grit, honesty and integrity, hope and ambition, a young man could succeed. A young woman could do better than her parents did. Unfortunately, we no longer live in a real Barbados. We live in a Stuart Barbados, where your government no longer seems to care that the youth they once courted so strongly. Your government no longer cares in creating opportunities and jobs. It no longer cares for the dreams and hopes of this nation's future. It is more concerned with hiding the truth. It is more concerned with telling you, you are to blame for why this country is not progressing. It is more interested in distraction, or like the Prime Minister, more interested in smiling broadly at a party for tourists, telling them that they are this country's top priority. Not you and me, not Barbadians. The tourists, they are Mr. Short's top priority. I want you to imagine something. I want you to close your eyes, clear your mind, and take a walk with me. At this very moment, someone is hitting you over the head, stealing your wallet, and kicking you in the teeth. And they've been doing it for 10 long years. You've been hit over the head by 20, no, count them, 20 successive downgrades. Do you know what a downgrade is? It is the international community telling you, hold up, something is wrong. A big red flashing beacon. And after 20, the beacon is now screaming, Mr. Stewart, you have put your country in the danger zone. Stop, stop. But yet, your representative says, nothing to worry about here. Carry on, carry on. There's someone reaching into your wallet every time you open it. His name is tax. And in a particular economy, he is king. When he is not inventing new ones, he's raising the old one. Let's go through them. He raised the VAT. He gave the solid waste tax. He gave the NSRL. And then he gave the foreign currency tax. And that is a few of the many. Like I said, tax is king. The government has successfully robbed its citizens of more money than any government ever. So I got one question. Where has the money gone? You have collected and collected and collected, but you always break. Borrowing more money, not paying the bills. Trust me, I still waiting on my income return tax. Don't worry about it, I still waiting. And finally, to add insult to injury, they're wasting the money that they have. They're wasting our money. Once upon a time, you could tell anyone in the Caribbean that you had the best infrastructure. You paid your taxes, but you could see where the money was going. Well, I want to tell you, your infrastructure is crumbling before your eyes. The roads are like the dark side of the moon. You got to pick which pothole you can drop in, because you got to drop in one. The buildings are growing mossy and moldy, breaking down with no maintenance, but then they go, instead of maintaining the building, and rank in somebody else's building. I wonder why. The grass at the side of almost every road in Barbados is so overgrown, you can't tell bush from bus stop. And I live in the country. Trust me, you can't tell bush from bus stop. And this situation tells you little money even there. So I'll ask again, where has the money gone? This country has been assaulted by its government. You have been assaulted by your government, but you have endured. They have waged war on the Barbadian way of life, yet you, my remarkable, amazing people, have endured. You have tightened your belt, done without, and endured on the promise that it would help to change the path of this country. But it has not. Because we have a captain with no vision, there's a man at the helm unconcerned or uncaring with the sinking ship. Captain, this ship is sinking. Yet you smile broadly for a camera and say, carry on, carry on. Well, I demand a captain with a solid vision of where we are going and a plan for how we are going to get there. And in Mia and more Motley, we have a captain with a plan, with experience, ready to set you on a better course. But she can't do it alone. She needs you. She needs you to put your faith in her. She needs you to put your faith in a man like Kurt Humphrey. Put your faith in a man who understands that opportunities and assistance will take our youth back to achieving greatness in this country. Once again, the young people of this community will know that their representative understands their plight, is willing to offer assistance, whether that is a point in the right direction or a helping hand. He will not dismiss your hardships as minor inconveniences. He respects the sacrifices of each and every one of you. He believes your children deserve the same opportunity to fulfill their full potential. Get on board. You have nothing to lose but your desperation. Get on board. Nothing to lose but your despair. All aboard for the youth. All aboard for your country. So as I close, please give Kurt your support. If you can't walk with him, talk about him. He ain't hard. He is a man who puts people over politics because the power of the people is bigger than the people in power. He would never do like your current representative, climb the ladder and then kick it down. Because according to Ferndale, your children are not worth the same opportunity as him. So choose a man like Kurt, a man to help us move Barbados forward. Give him your support. Vote for Kurt.